I think he has had some pretty insane showings on this champion compared to Twisted Fate, and really nice to see Hong Kong Attitude locking this in and just basically guaranteeing their late game scaling.
I mean, you grab the Azir, pair that alongside a fasting Senna, and you're just signaling that we want to go late and we want to have a massive team fight. We will be seeing the bans go, Boom Esports taking away the Volibear, with Hong Kong Attitude taking away 2 more of Ruby's go-to mages in Zoe and Syndra, taking away any burst mage potential, possibly trying to encourage him to play the Orianna. We will see Lilia being banned away from Hong Kong Attitude as well, and if the top lane is picked up here, they're saving jungle for counter pick, which is something we don't often see very often.
I mean, especially when Boom Esports already locked in the Udyr. Like, this is basically, you know, showing how Hong Kong Attitude trusts on Kongyue so much, right? They're giving Kongyue the counter pick, and not only that, like, he gets to see the entire Boom Esports roster champion picks before deciding his champion. So, you know, maybe we will see something spicy happening, you know, something maybe like a Nocturne, maybe something like a Nidalee, you know, a lot of potential here for Kongyue.
I mean, with the Jace being picked up for Rocky, some priority has been drafted. We have seen some Jaces fall to the Gnar sometimes with jungle intervention, so it'll be important for Kongyue to help out Rock on the top side of the map. I just think HK will just... Ruby's going, you've banned out a lot of mid laners, but you haven't banned out potentially the power pick still of the patch, still being Seraphine in this mid lane, and this is prior to her note nerf on the Moonstone passive. Is that still
so Moonstone will still activate whenever she have notes on a champion, on an ally that is in combat. So that is a pretty broken interaction that actually lets Seraphine heal a lot more than she should be. However, we will see, you know, Boom Esports just round out the comp with this support champion in the mid lane, and I mean, you don't really often see Ruby on a supportive champion like this, right? Most of the time you see him on a carry champion. He is, like I said before, like representing 29.5% of his team's damage. So on the Seraphine, not something that I was expecting. I was honestly expecting a Kassadin. But maybe you know, the fact that jungle is not picked until 5 pick actually dissuade him from doing that. However, on Hong Kong Attitude side, you see the Graves being locked in. It's actually quite an underwhelming pick, I'd say. I don't think Graves in the current meta is that great. Like, he doesn't actually scale that well into the late game. He doesn't clear as fast as champions like the Udyr, the Hecarim, etc. And the really good thing though about this pick is that as soon as Graves gets ahead, he will be able to one-shot people left, right, and center in the mid game.
Yeah, I mean, Graves is a very explosive pick. You were mentioning Kongyue might have had something prepped that he was only going to pick if the enemy team comp allowed it. He has showed that it was the Graves. And as you mentioned, Graves, around that mid game, he does so much damage. If you're able to get in melee range and get every single pellet to hit them, combine that with Q and ultimate, that is so much damage just being done in such a shorter period of time. Looking towards both team comps as they are, how do you think Boom Esports are going to play this one out? Because it seems as though they've got a bit of a pick comp kind of with how they've drafted.
Yeah, I mean, so far, like, it seems like Boom Esports probably just want to isolate mid lane. I mean, both champions doesn't really do anything in lane. Azir wants to farm up. Seraphine innately just pushes and doesn't really have any kill pressure. And a lot of the action is probably going to fall into this top lane. It is a very volatile matchup in that Jace versus Gnar. As soon as Gnar falls behind, you know, Jace is just going to outtrade him 24/7. Basically, you know, all Jace needs to do is literally press buttons, and Gnar will have to retreat. So it is something that can actually just make or break the game. So I'd assume both junglers will want to play towards that lane.
Yeah, as we go into the Rift, we do see an aggressive laning item picked up for the Jace, highlighting the longsword, and has gone 3 health potions, so really trying to snowball in, get a quick serrated Dirk for himself. Potentially even, I mean, I'm assuming he'll grab a quick straight at Dirk for himself and try and snowball the lane quite a bit. Besides that, anything you see that's unusual in the Rift, or everything pretty stock standard?
Yeah, I mean, overall, like, everything seems pretty stock standard. You do see the Na going for the Halo Blade. So, you know, Rock is definitely looking to go toe-to-toe against this Jace in lane, because, you know, this is actually one of the runes that Na takes when he wants to win lane against champion that outranges him. Because, like, champions like Kennen, Tristana, Lucian, Jace, like, these champions beat Na in lane because they outrange him. And now with Halo Blades means that he's going to be able to trade more auto attacks during the trading time frame, and probably just even out, you know, the damage.
Yeah, I mean, you've traded a bit of late game tankiness that you might grab from something like a Grasp, proccing that up in the laning phase, but more allowing yourself to match up better against the Jace, which is such a lane bully, such a prolific laner, someone that is basically the essence of a win lane, win game champion. You want to build a massive CS lead. You want to just continue to bully with shock blast, auto attacks, and really make your enemy top laners life hell. So Rock opting to go something that allows him to trade and weather the storm quite a bit. And we will be seeing junglers passing to opposite sides of the map. The W will land from M&M, but not much more will come. As a result, just auto-attacking down, grabbing souls. So, the Devour will be forced after the mount up. Crash down. That will be on cooldown. I don't think Waka GP really want to be doing anything else.
Yeah, I mean, this is not a lane where Rel really wants to engage, because, you know, if you're engaged onto the Time Kench, the Time Kench will be able to tank and fight back pretty easily. And if you engage onto the center, you know, center is just going to get devoured, and you will get traded on pretty hard because you have approximately 250 move speed. And let's just look at this jungle a little bit. Kongyue having to sack clearing 2 camps to match the Scuttle spawner means that Scuttle spawn timing means that he is going to be quite behind Epic in terms of jungle clear and his usefulness on the map.
Is that just him trying to shadow bot side, trying to give them a bit of protection, maybe look for a gank, him skipping those camps? Because I feel like, is Graves really that slow at clearing camps now with all these changes?
It's definitely slower, but definitely not that slow. I think the trade in the bot lane from Pop there actually opened up a dive timing there. However, Hong Kong Attitude just decides not to do it. Probably just didn't want to convert the game this early on, especially when Graves is not scaled up just yet.
As we do see resets from both junglers, they are able to grab some items for themselves. Seraphine on her back, she has opted to go the tier, going the scaling route, most likely going to be grabbing a Seraph's Embrace at some point in this game. It'll be interesting to see if she continues to go Moonstone Redeemer. We most likely will be seeing it, but as you mentioned in Champ Select, Ruby is more of a carry champion, and Luden's Echo still works on Seraphine and does a lot of damage. Do you think there's any chance of going Luden's Seraphs this game, or do you think it will be the Moonstone? As Rock trades heavily onto Rocky, forcing him out quite a bit. No summon is blown, but Na getting the better of the Jace just there.
Yeah, I mean, not really something you see day to day, and Ruby with the,
the collapse coming down. Rock has followed Bivin. Will be throwing the soldiers. Kongyue will jump over the wall. Auto attacks coming down. The bear will stun away the Graves. Bears triumphing over shotguns today, as Boom Esports are able to get away.
Yeah, and so like Ruby was able to gather information that Kongyue has not hit his crux about like a minute ago, so that sets up Epic to invade Kongyue's Raptors, and Kongyue, unfortunately he will have his Raptor being stolen now actually, and he will actually be put quite behind in terms of jungle clearing. I think Ruby will probably get cancelled here.
Or Bivin could be in a little bit of trouble.
No, I think Azir is fine. He still has shifting stance. He's just going to shift away, and it will be no big deal. Kongyue trying to get this dragon, but this dragon is 1v1ing him pretty well.
I mean, Cloud Dragon does quite a bit of damage in the early game, especially if you have no tank. Using the bot lane priority, he will be able to grab the assistance from Eminem, from Wing. The Guardian is used on Eminem, so it doesn't matter in the end. First Dragon will go over to Hong Kong Attitude, and stacking Drakes could be a way that HKA begin to build a lead or weather the storm that Boom Esports is starting to create.
Yeah, Hong Kong Attitude, I think, they can definitely play to scale with their Zia center. However, that would be at a cost of Graves just falling off in the late game, right? So we'll see how Hong Kong Attitude juggle between, maintaining, getting Graves ahead and also maintaining their scaling. So that's something that, we'll see for the next few minutes, whether they actually make plays or they just play it slowly. And on Boom Esports side, was a little shocking to see Rocky got out-traded there. However, he still have a pretty sizable CS lead in the top lane.
I love the double cloth armor from the Gnar. Just really making Jace's... Trying to combat the poke from Jace in the shock fast. Like, really itemizing, going, I'm going to be a tank. I'm most likely going to be going Bramble Vest first item, and just being a pain in the butt for you, essentially. Really just trying to be an annoying little... Yordle man, Yordle monster, but we will see Kongyue taking away the red buff. And more on... sorry.
It is the ancient Yordle, as Clement says. I'm not really a lore guy, but Clement apparently is, and he told me that Gnar is like an ancient Yordle.
Yeah, I can see, like, prehistoric kind of, like, he's got the broken common language. It doesn't quite speak a lot. Nah, 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 most common phrase from the Gnar. As we do see the Herald being started from Boom Esports. Kongyue is in the vicinity, so it will be interesting to see if he is willing to make this or deter them. The control ward is used, but Kongyue deciding to just try and give a little pressure on Rocky on the top side, but he's kind of being zoned off, decides he does want to come here. Bivin has joined him once again. This could be a bit of a 3v3 skirmish here. Flash Bear will land the stun onto Kongyue. He's getting kicked down. He will live just, but at the cost of the Herald going over to Boom Esports. They will be grabbing up that objective for themselves, and it looks as though they will be looking to drop it mid straight away. No, they will think better of it, but that's a trade of a flash for Graves for not a lot, and the Herald going over Boom.
Yeah, this is not really what I want to see from Hong Kong Attitude. Gnar does not have Mega Gnar just yet in that fight, and then their bot lane, despite moving up and using the Abyssal Voyage, doesn't really get there in time. Also, Azir at this stage does significantly less than Seraphine in terms of both damage and utility. So definitely not really the fight that you want to take, and it will cost Kongyue his flash. Luckily he did not die. He is about like 1 HP away from dying, but still not the best trade.
Yeah, talking about trades, Rock doing really well into Rocky in the top side. Gnar really holding his own against the Jace. That was actually pretty impressive for Rock. Lands Boomerang, gets auto attacks down with Halo Blades, really assisting him, allowing him to combat the Jace. We will see Bivin handed over the blue buff. Epic will spot him out, but we do see the Rel going on a bit of a roam, but we'll be on our way back. Bot lane, a little bit of a lull state after the Herald, but Dragon starting in 1 minute and 20 seconds, and it's crucial for Boom Esports to put their foot down and stop the Drake stacking now.
Yeah, I mean, Boom Esports actually also do better with Dragons than Hong Kong Attitude. I think Hong Kong Attitude doesn't really have the tools to fight right now, I know Graves want to fight, however, Azir and Senna probably says otherwise, so not the best. I think, the Graves feels a little out of place so far, and maybe he will be able to make a play in the top lane, seeing that Rock is doing a fairly good job, holding up against Rocky, and, as soon as you're able to put this Jace behind, then all of a sudden Boom Esports' composition relies on the team fighting.
Oh, Ruby is being called down for potentially a dive. Wako is low, the Herald is used as well. Wing and Eminem just get straight out of there. Encore is available if Ruby decides to use it. Elects not to, does land the root, and forces the cleanse from Eminem as a result. That's a summoner blown for not much. And then we see in the top lane the damage of the Graves coming out, but the outplay from Rocky knocking away the Gnar, and Oh my goodness, Rocky really just waiting the dive. And Boom Esports on the bottom side of the map. Eminem and Wing are here now. Wako is quite low. He is slowed from the Glacial Augment of Senna, but they will back away as a result and turn towards the Dragon. Rocky did really well to turn that one.
Yeah, I mean, Rocky, you know, he has to outplay that 1v2 there. No one was there to help him. So was the bot lane from Hong Kong Attitude. So Hong Kong Attitude's bot lane was able to escape with Senna E, but Rocky not so lucky. However, he actually played it pretty well, you know, expecting the dive here, completely juking Na with just his movement, and also Kongyue, you know, trying to predict the Jace flash, not really successful, and Jace will be able to trade the Na 1-for-1 and just basically maintaining his advantage in top lane.
Yeah, I mean, it was so nice to watch him have to like predict the hop from the Na, kites back under his turret further again, and then he just is able to knock back the Na into the tower, able to go 1-for-1, super clean, and he is able to grab an Eclipse as a result for himself, an item that does super well on the Jace, gives him a lot of what he wants. He wants the lethality, he wants the lifesteal, and it's an item that really lets Jace run away with it, the lane at least, into the early stages of the game. And you can see straight away the difference that one item, the confidence it gives Rocky to win these trades against Rock.
Yeah, I mean, it is going to be pretty rough for the Na now that this Jace have one item. This Na is still struggling to get his first item completed. However, look at mid lane, it is going to be the Moonstone Seraphine that is going to come out from Ruby. And Azia most likely going for, I wouldn't say Ludens, because this patch Ludens is probably the better item, but no, it is going to be a Liandry's. Liandry's did have its magic penetration over time removed in favor of like a sort of like a giant slayer passive. So not as useful in terms of damage output. However, still a very good item for Azir. You know, really nicely synergizing with her kit. Seraphine with an interesting TP there.
Yeah, I mean, Seraphine trying to set up a really roundabout flank, and it seems like it will pay off. She does have Encore. It will miss everyone the flash is used from Wing, but Epic is there. Devour is forced from Wing, but Eminem has some confidence. Auto is back onto Ruby, and the dive is avoided, but the turret is lost. And Boom Esports will grab themselves the first turret of the game. Rocky versus Kongyue. No help for the Graves, as we just see them trading auto attacks. The Shock Blast will land, the flash used, and Kongyue with the outplay 2 levels down. That Graves, there's a reason why they picked it. Gale Force in hand, Kongyue grabs that one.
Yeah, I mean, that was really well played from Kongyue, you know, maintaining the distance from the Jace. That Jace was not able to land any spells or auto attacks on Kongyue, and you're just completely outplaying Rocky in the river right there. Let's watch this once again. You know, this is just beautiful. You know, Kongyue also have the big bonus move speed, River Walking, gets the center shield. That denies a lot of the early damage here. That flash just means that Jace can't really do anything, despite having that face rush. So, you know, really a nice kiting there from Kongyue. And however, you know, bot lane, that was just really awkward. I think it was kind of a little awkwardly executed from Ruby Sports there. I think, you know, Epic could have just flashed for the stun into Ruby's Encore. That would guarantee the charm to hit. However, you know, Hong Kong Attitude will be able to get away from that with just 2 flashes being burned and dropping a turret. Hong Kong Attitude will get this Herald without any contest, and things go back to normal.
Yeah, the post 14-minute Herald grabbed not the highest priority objective in the game, so Boom Esports willing to let that one slip over to Hong Kong Attitude, but Boom Esports losing out on both sides of the map in that skirmish. Like, you saw them commit Seraphine teleport, as we were mentioning, so much. When the Encore goes wide, the gank's over. Like, there's nothing you can really do. Tom Kench has Devour. Like, yes, Udyr can run at you with Turbo Chem Tank and stun you up, but there's really nothing to follow, and the AD carry and support are so far behind that Kaiser and Brel could not close the gap and get closer there, so it was just so unfortunate to see it go awry. We do see the Dragon spawning in 44 seconds, so Boom Esports trying to get some vision down.
Yep, they will get spotted by that control ward, I believe. Wow, that's a lot of damage on Bivin. And actually, just touch on a little bit. 11.6 sees the mirror mana buff. Actually, it would have been 11.5 actually.
Yeah.
Now all the champions actually have like ability damage. Actually, no. So basically, all the abilities from champion damaging abilities will apply mirror mana as well. So that is actually a huge thing on Jace, because as soon as Jace becomes melee range, you actually have a lot of amplified damage.
Yeah, it's super critical on a champion that's able to go in and out of melee. As Epic will use Turbo Cam Take, stuns up Wing, but he has so much health with the thick skin. Beautiful from POP, landing a 3-man attract and repel. The Zero will be used, Eminem kiting that one out, but Bivin has something else to say. And Kong Kong Attitude trade that one 2 for 1, playing that one so well. It looks so good after POP landed the massive stun, but oh my goodness, outplay from HKA.
Yeah, I mean, really nice counter engage there from Bivin with that 2-man Emperor's Divide, and also Rock with it that Gnar. So, I mean, Boom Esports, found the dream engage. However, Hong Kong Attitude just with it that better response. Also, one thing that I realized from that team fight is that Boom Esports, after that initial engage, they really don't have enough AoE to actually follow up. So let's just watch this once again. Epic starting off with the stun, Jace already using the Shock Blast. So what that means is, despite that 3-man magnetic storm into Encore, there's just not enough damage to follow up, and Bivin was able to pull off this amazing counter engage and just almost wiping Boom Esports' entire roster.
Yeah, I mean, it looks so good. You have the Encore into the stun, and you think, how can Hong Kong Attitude fight back? But as you mentioned, the Emperor's Divide just bought so much time and did so much damage, shoving multiple members back in, and Hong Kong Attitude walk out victorious. And as a result, we do see the gold lead starting to fall a little bit for Boom Esports. And more on what you were mentioning about Boom Esports not having a lot of AoE damage after the combo goes off, because if you're not able to burst them up straight away with the J Shock Blast, with, I guess, just Udyr's upfront damage, as well as Seraphine's, it's really on Kai'Sa to keep the damage pumping. So how do you think Boom Esports are going to have to play this one out? More pick style?
Yeah, I mean, all they need to do is just utilize that Jace, have this Jace generate a lot of pressure against the Gnar, and just buy enough time for this for this Seraphine and this Kai'Sa to scale up, because I think, despite Hong Kong Attitude have the better scaling into the late game, the Seraphine plus Kai'Sa is definitely something that is more threatening in the mid game once you hit that 2-item mark.
Oh, Stride Breaker used for Rocky, but he could be found out here. Epic is here. Rock really has nowhere to go. Will get Mega Gnar. Unable to really use anything. No ultimate for him. Sanol will go down. He is buying so much time, however, not willing to commit. Waka will be coming down. It seems as though they were waiting to just stall that one out and give Waka a kill on the Kai'Sa. Really smart from Boom Esports to put the gold where they want it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they just have to make a play on this Jace, on the Gnar, because, as soon as Jace is able to accumulate a huge amount of pressure, Hong Kong Attitude have to respond. Just like you see right now, Rocky is knocking on their second tier turret just 90 minutes into the game, and it is something that you don't really want to see. If you have a split pusher and an almost empty lane, this champion will win you the game. So really nicely played there from Boom Esports, and also we did see like the Wako outplay there, outplaying the Flash Gnar from Rock with the usage of the ulti.
Yeah, I mean, great stuff from Wako to be able to just get away from Rock trying to potentially burst 100-0 the 80 carry, but hopping over the wall, are starting up the Baron. There is zero vision, however, so they are potentially able to do this one. Ruby will spot them out. TP being committed as well. So it will be 4 members going into this Baron pit, but TP into a pit with the Azir recalling. He does have TP to rejoin the fight, however, so he is looking to do that. But do they have time? Boom Esports are just going in. This could be a stall. A steal goes over to 2 Seraphine, and the Graves falls as well. They take the Baron, and they take the life of the jungler. Boom Esports win out huge.
What? What am I watching? That was Wait, no way! Hong Kong Attitude, you can't do this. I mean, oh, look, what started off is that Biffin is hitting Baron from behind the Baron, and you take extra damage from that. Also, the failure for Kongyue to juggle Baron's aggro means that Biffin just takes so much damage to a point where he has to recall. And basically, Boomies was just walking the Baron and just say thank you for the leash.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that that's stolen from the Seraphine because it's smited down to 200 health is just so devastating, because Kongyue goes for the steal of the steal and he can't even get it. He has smite up, misses a smite. It's so sad.
That was just... That I'm so speechless from that play, actually. I don't know, like all of a sudden, Hong Kong actually was looking decent. All they had to do is just maintain the map state, and Azir and the center will eventually just outscale. However, they decided to do this cheeky Baron and got absolutely backfired on.
I mean, 5k gold lead as a result for Boom Esports. The Dragon is coming up in 15 seconds, so both teams fighting for priority over the river. Rock quite low, will just hop away, so the Encore goes completely wide. That will not be up for the fight that will be soon pursuing as the Drake fight. But Boom Esports trying to shove in for priority with the Baron that they acquired for themselves. Wako, however, does flash away the Emperor's Divide. Epic is there to stun up the Azir. He is able to get away with the Streamer Shuffle for himself. He is, the Devour rather. He will be dropping the Sun Disc turret to stop the wave clear, and BME are starting to path around this river. They have total vision control. The control does go down though, so they do not anymore. Hong Kong Attitude are shoving in the mid wave, trying to get priority there. Boom. Pump lands the Magnet Storm into the Attract Repel, into the Encore. So much damage coming through. Double kill for the Seraphine. Now they are chasing the remaining members. Nah, however, is able to do nothing. So much burst damage coming through. The ace for Boom Esports. Hong Kong Attitude with another just throw. Oh my goodness, great engage.
Yeah, I mean, hey guys, Pop have Flash, Rel with Flash and Magnetic Storm is something that is almost released Rakan level of engage, and it is not something that you can really answer. And the fact that you guys are pushing up so far, and just basically exposing yourself to this Rel is basically game losing. And Hong Kong Attitude, massive misplay. And we'll just watch this one again. That was just beautiful 4-man Magnetic Storm, and basically, the Hong Kong Attitude roster just got completely popped. And despite Na trying to jump in for that, he was stunned up, could not do anything, and Kongyue will also die for that. Boom Esports at the back end of that fight did expend 2 TP just for the inhibitor, which I don't think is that worth. But they will also scoop up another Dragon, and they are now firmly in the lead in game 1.
Yeah, 5,000 balloons into 9,000 at the back end of that play. The ace into the Dragon, as well as Inhib turret and Inhibitor from the bot side, really just snowballs your lead. Wako, who hasn't really looked that crazy in these fights, has found himself 1,100 gold rather. That's so much damage, but we will be seeing, oh my goodness, Eminem, 1 shock blast. There is half your health bar gone. Will be Wako hitting onto this Frog non-stop, and it will be forcing away 2 members of the team, but Wako could be caught. Naro does land onto him and the Seraphine. Encore will go wide thanks to the Devour. Re-engage into the crash down, into the Magnet Pool. We will be seeing Kongyue. He is taken down through the Void Seeker, and it will be Boom Esports once again winning out that fight 0-2, and they will be pushing onto the Inhibitor turret. Rocky is taking up this one. The wave isn't quite there. They will take the first turret. They will be moving onto the Inhibitor, and they might be trying to end here. Let's see what they do. They will be pushing on a little bit further. Death timer around 11 and 25. The crash down will go wide. Rock is able to hop away, but that's not going to save the Nexus turret. Nexus turret 1 goes down, but as a result, Rel is being picked up. Wako auto-attacking onto the turret. He will grab that one for himself. Exposed Nexus now, and Boom Esports decide that's enough for them, and they will get out.
Yeah, I mean, things just gone from bad to worse for Hong Kong Attitude. I mean, like I said, earlier this game, right? Boom Esports have the better team comp at 2 items, and this is exactly when Boom Esports is the strongest. So I don't really see the reason why Hong Kong Attitude needs to look for this engage. Azir was not even close to the team fight. Rock, despite getting 2-man on that Gnar, there was just absolutely no follow-up, and then they just get completely out-damaged and also out-sustained by Boom Esports team comp. So, Hong Kong Attitude, all they have to do is maintain the map state. They don't have to do anything spectacular, and they will naturally just win up because of a better late-game team comp. However, this is not going to be the case. Boom Esports capitalized on Hong Kong Attitude's mistake, and now they are looking to set up their next Baron.
Yeah, Hong Kong Attitude feeling pressured into making something happen on the map because of the gold deficit that they're seeing. You see the 4-1 Seraphine, you see the 3-0 Kai'Sa, this Jace doing mountains of damage. You feel the pressure to be proactive and make plays, but Wako, killer instinct, that's what he sure does have. The Void Seeker lands, and that's goodbye Senna. That is a fed Kai'Sa, Lord Dominic's in pocket, followed by the Phantom Dancer and Kraken Slayer, and Senna's no more, and they will be pushing onto the Nasher. They will be starting this one up. Rocky is looking to try and find a little bit of a pick with a roam. The root will land. Goodbye Graves. Ruby picks that one up, and they will turn their attention back to the Baron, and they will be storming onto the enemy base. 3 members are up for Hong Kong Attitude. 5 seconds left on Senna's death timer, 30 onto the Grave Sunder's turret, goodbye. They will continue to be pushing into this wave. We will see the Sand Soldiers be pushed forward. Epic with Turbo Chem Tank will be stunning up the Tahm Kench. Beautiful ultimate coming through with the flash, is able to secure the Tahm Kench going down. Open inhibitor, that is so much damage coming through from Rocky, able to pick up the Azir. And Boom Esports will be grabbing the first game for themselves. The Nexus, they're having a little bit of fun there. Take down the center, and Boom Esports are victorious over Hong Kong Attitude.
Yeah, I mean, that is a I want to say convincing game one, but it's not entirely that convincing in terms of the early game, right? I think Boom Esports won bot lane, and they basically have the victory handed to them on a silver platter because Hong Kong Attitude decided to coin flip a Baron. I think that Baron call was just simply game losing, and this is almost like flashback of week 1 Hong Kong Attitude, where Eminem was trying to play that fasting center and ended up being 5 levels behind the enemy. So Hong Kong Attitude, maybe this is just not the team comp for them to execute. Eminem and Wing doesn't really look that confident on that center. Tahm Kench in the bot lane, basically just losing a 2v2 fairly hard, and then Kongyue and Biven deciding to coin flip the Baron, got spotted and then just got handed over the Baron was just very confusing.
It was just devastating to watch Hong Kong Attitude making a desperation play. That's the only reason they go for that Baron right there. And they commit to it, but juggling the damage from the Baron forces Biven to get out. He has TP so he can join back, but it was so rough to see Boom Esports just rock up to the pit, 3,000 health remaining on the Baron, and they force Kongyue to coin flip with a smite steal, and he smites early, and it was just chaos from there, and it was ace after ace in the remaining team fights, and Boom Esports looking convincing when they have that push, when they have that lead. They took it and they kept going. They took off the checks. They went, this is the first thing we need to do. We've got the Baron. We will now push in the waves. We'll grab the Greg, and I think it was pretty convincing from them.
Yeah, I mean, it just shows that once Boom Esports is able to find themselves a good footing in the game, they will just be able to play objectives to objectives and just close out the game very cleanly. On Hong Kong Attitude side, I think for them, they just need to understand their team comp. I mean, yes, like the Graves was a little... it was a little weird, it doesn't really pair up with the rest of the team that well. However, at the end of the day, like Hong Kong Attitude have a scaling team comp, and all they need to do is just play towards it. The game was slow enough for them to reach that late game stage, but they decided to accelerate it, and they lost the game for that.
I think it starts from putting Kongyue on a champion he can have early game pressure on. The Graves, it didn't feel very good to watch because yes, he did have that crazy outplay, in the top side on the Jace, but besides that, the Graves kind of felt lackluster. It didn't feel like a typical Kong UA game, where you see him be super proactive, looking for skirmishes, mid-jungle 2v2, trying to crack open bot lane, get Eminem fed. It was rather, I'm Graves, I need to farm some camps, and I need to get gold on me, rather than I'm Olaf, I will be power clearing through the jungle, now what, let's be proactive. So I feel like it starts from there.
Yeah, I mean, Hong Kong Attitude, they just have to choose one or the other, right? You either have Kongyue just outpacing the enemy jungle on a farming jungler, and you have the rest of your team just playing the scaling matchup, or you have your entire team just draft around Kongyue, and you know, you basically just play for that early game, play for the snowball. Now, MVP is going to go to Pop, you know, just multiple insane flash engage on this rel. 1, and 10 KDA. I mean, the rest doesn't really matter in terms of the damage. Like, you're a support, like, you can't really expect a rel to do damage when your ultimate does when your ultimate does almost like 500 damage like on the entire team. So I mean, props to Pop. Really nice performance this game, and just hope he will be able to continue this performance next game.
Yeah, super clean on Pop. He looked really good on the rel, but we will be leaving you. We'll be returning after the short break, so please don't go anywhere for Game 2 between Boom Esports and HKA.
不知道从哪天起，我获得了一股超能力。其实，这不是超能力，我只是办了。
中国信托英雄联盟卡多款卡面任你选，最高享10%现金回馈，也想拥有这些英雄被动技，现在就去办，再送神秘英雄礼。We are family.
CTBC Bank is Taiwan's top financial institution, but we're not stopping there. We're crafting an international brand and already have over 260 outlets in 14 countries. We are by your side, ready to embrace the future.
family. 不知道从哪天起，我获得了一股超能力。其实，这不是超能力，我只是办了。
中国信托英雄联盟卡多款卡面任你选，最高享10%现金回馈，也想拥有这些英雄被动技，现在就去办，再送神秘英雄礼。We are family.
CTBC Bank is Taiwan's top financial institution, but we're not stopping there. We're crafting an international brand and already have over 260 outlets in 14 countries. We are by your side, ready to embrace the future.
Hello and welcome back to the PCS for Game 2 of the best of 3 series between Boom Esports and Hong Kong Attitude. We just saw Boom Esports be triumphant over Hong Kong Attitude, and we're looking to see if Boom Esports can continue that momentum, or if Hong Kong Attitude will begin to rally back as a team.
Yeah, I mean, for Hong Kong Attitude, right, after Game 1, I mean, all they're probably saying is just don't coin flip Baron. I think, that's really all they needed to do. Maybe, perhaps change up draft a little bit, but I mean, this game, I think they have chosen blue side.
Yes,
so it does mean that they will no longer have the counter pick for Kongyue. However, it also means that Kongyue would be able to first pick a priority jungler.
Yeah, we're expecting him to go away from something like the Graves. Yeah, he looked really good in the skirmishes, getting an outplay over Rocky even on the Jace. So his proficiency on the champion is definitely not the reason why the pick failed. It is more a team composition issue. So something like a priority jungler, like you're mentioning, like the Hecarim, like the Olaf would be somewhere we would like to see him go.
Yeah, definitely. And for Boom Esports, right, I'm actually just happy that I'm not seeing mental Boom Esports today. Because when Boom Esports are having their low lows, it's actually quite horrible to watch. Ruby just getting caught out left, right, and center. Epic making play and failing. Everything just not going fine for them. But today, Game 1, they really stepped up. Pop with massive engages. Ruby on that Seraphine. I think he has been on the Seraphine before during the split, but it is not something that you typically see on Ruby.
Yeah, I mean, he looked great on the champion. A couple times, some encores went wide, but for the most part, he was landing them when they needed to. And I think the wombo combo that they did draft for themselves, lots of burst damage and lots of chain CC was really good for them. I'd like to see Boom Esports go something similar to that. We will be seeing Tristana banned out as well as Twisted Fate as we go into the pick and ban phase of Game 2. Rel will be taken away, not willing to give VOP that champion once again.
Yep, basically Hong Kong Attitude is just saying that, nope, get this Rel out of this game. That's probably what Choi is saying in the background. And you have Thresh being banned away instead of the Victor. So Boom Esports, they might be able to secure Victor for Ruby this game. Boom Esports, however, they are going to maintain the same ban so far. The Twisted Fate taken away from Viven. Olaf, just a very solid champion for Kongyue, and we'll see what they ban last.
It will be the Lucian not wanting to give Viven over. He's a little pocket pick, a champion that he's looked so lethal on, both historically and in the spring split, and that is something we were asking for, and they have delivered. It will be the first pick Hecarim, a much better look for Hong Kong Attitude.
Yeah, I believe Biven haven't played Lucian this split, but he is.
I'm getting confused. Sorry.
It's alright. But I mean, I think he would be a threatening Lucian nonetheless. Given how he plays in lane. But it is going to be the very stock standard Hecarim versus Udyr, and Boom Esports, instead of securing the Victor, they are going to pick the Seraphine. So they're probably just going to maintain the same team comp as they did in Game 1. Just same thing, if things aren't broken, do not fix.
Yeah, and Hong Kong Attitude taking the opposite approach. They're going, things were definitely awry in our previous composition, and we're going to grab the power picks that Arch players are able to pilot really well. And I like the Gragas hover here. It is getting changed away. I would have liked to see that flex potential to send that top onto Rock, as well as Wing piloting it in the bot lane, but it will be an Alistar Kai'Sa duo, which is a very explosive lane and puts pressure on Boom Esports to, I guess, either match the intensity or pick something a bit safer.
Yeah, I mean, Alistar is a pretty good champion into Seraphine. The Unbreakable will be able to break the Encore Charm, and also your Engage is very hard for Seraphine to deal with. However, we will see Xayah being locked in. I was just about to say that Seraphine still have the potential to be flexed into bot lane or support. So right now, by locking in Xayah in the AD carry position, I believe that Seraphine is left with either mid lane or support. I don't really see Seraphine support going to Alistar, so that is most likely a Seraphine mid lane.
Yeah, I feel like Seraphine Pre-6 will have a very tough time dealing with the potential engage of the Alistar Kai'Sa. So sending that mid for Ruby, he looked incredible on it in the game 1, would be more of a sensible decision. Orianna being banned away from Bivin, and we will see Rakan being banned, so Hong Kong Attitude have the same thoughts as us, thinking that that is a mid Seraphine, so they're looking to pinch the champions that POP could be playing. Syndra will follow as well, really targeting Bivin, not giving a lot of respect to Rock.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what Hong Kong Attitude, like what other supports will they ban. I think Xayah, without the Rakan, she's not really that champion that's really that threatening. I mean, even with the Leona, right? Like Xayah is just typically one of those champions that's just not that good at going forward. It's better. The biggest reason why Wako picked Xayah in this game is probably because of the Alistar and the Hecarim. You really want to use that Feather Storm to just dodge away from all the engage. Galio support is going to get locked in, just providing even more safety for the backline. So far I'm quite liking Boom Esports comp. However, Xayah and Seraphine are still very, very vulnerable to the all-in engage that Hong Kong Attitude have drafted so far. And now that Nara is locked in, that is a lot of engage.
Yeah, I mean, Galio will be trying his best with the Winds of Justice to taunt up and peel for the Xayah. Very defensive bot lane they have drafted for themselves, but this could be a LeBlanc. It's a hover. I'm getting excited looking at it. I'd love to see Bivin pilot it. Definitely explosive and on theme with the rest of the team. We'll see if they are going to pick it. It is a bit of a bait, and we will be seeing Bivin on the Azir, a much more sensible champion, something we would normally see rather than the explosive assassin one-shot of a LeBlanc, but still a good champion nonetheless. And Yasuo hovers coming out. I doubt we'll see a Yasuo top.
I mean, it is a good counter to Nah, however, I don't really expect that to happen. It is going to be the Irelia, I believe. Yeah, that sounds a lot more sensible. So, Irelia is a good pick here. I think Camille is a good pick here with the Galio, and they're both really good into the Nah. So, Nah, once again, Rock on this Nah is once again going to get counter-picked by Rocky. This time, not sure whether he will perform just as good because Irelia is definitely a worse matchup for Nah than the Jace. Hong Kong Attitude, just touching on that little LeBlanc hover, because I actually do prefer LeBlanc in this comp over Azir. They don't really want to play to scale. And the fact that LeBlanc have such a high kill threat on the Seraphine, and also LeBlanc can also force out the Feather Storm from Xayah before all the engage comes in is actually huge. So I'm kind of a bit sad that LeBlanc was not actually locked in, and it's going to be the stock standard Azir. However, Hong Kong Attitude still drafted themselves a really good teamfight comp.
Yeah, no mid lane explosive pick with the LeBlanc, but we will be seeing the Azir, as you mentioned, instead. One thing I want to mention is Aurelia is seen almost exclusively as a counter pick in the PCS into Nah, so I'm excited to see how the Rock versus Rocky top lane duel goes out, because if Aurelia builds a lead much similar to the Jace, it becomes nightmarish for the Nah. If it already isn't, if it really stacks the passive, trades heavily onto the Nah, it'll be chaos for him. Looking towards both team comps, which one more are you favoring? Who do you think won the draft?
I think I wouldn't say win the draft, because I feel like Hong Kong Attitude is just going for the safer but just better, more all-round comp. They can split push with the Nah. Azir clears out wave pretty effectively. You have the pick potential in the Hecarim, in the Kai'Sa, and you can also just teamfight really well with all the AoE damage coming in and AoE CC. So Hong Kong Attitude, I do prefer the draft because of ease of execution. However, the explosive draft that Boom Esports have drafted with that Irelia is also is also doable. I wouldn't say I like it, but Irelia, typically one of those champions that really just plays for lane. is actually gonna get buffed by the Seraphine. You know, this champion is not that great at team fighting. It requires a lot of finger maneuvers, but this Seraphine is going to help that a lot.
Yeah, definitely will do with the Moonstone Renewer build. Looking towards runes, we see Halo Blades once again for Rock on the Na, continuing to favor the more trade-heavy rune, hopefully to more of an extent. Well, I guess he did a really good job into Rocky. What am I saying? Like trading early on, Weathering the Storm, only going 10 to 15 or so CS under the Jace, which is typically what you'd expect. Rocky potentially setting up a little bit of a trap for Rock. Rock will understand and will begin to kite away, autoing down. The boomerang will not connect, but besides the Halo Blades, nothing too crazy in terms of runes. Really, it goes Conqueror for more of sustained team fighting. Standard trades, item-wise, nothing too crazy either. Yeah, it's pretty stock standard stuff from both teams. When the pressure's on, they really want to make sure they're drafting, I guess, safety and comfort.
Yeah, I mean, Rocky this time, he went for the Doran's Blade instead of the Doran's Shield, and Rocky, I mean, kind of disrespecting, you know, the item choice and also the rune choice there, and just getting chunked quite hard.
Oh, he could be solo killed here. One more auto will do it. No. It will actually not. Rocky survives to the thanks of Corrupting Potion taking him up, and Rock just missing out on the solo kill there, flashing forward and not able to grab it, and Rocky did not blow his flash as well, so that's a summon a lead rather for Aurelia as a result, and Na will recall now.
I don't really like that flash. I mean, like, even if he is able to get the kill, like, I'd say it's not really that worth. I mean, you do deny a few minions from the Aurelia, however, now with that flash is so dangerous against Aurelia in lane. Like, Aurelia, once she's able to get 5 stacks, she will just run this Na down despite Na having the hop. So, it's not a good trade, I'd say. I mean, especially this time, you know, when he didn't even get the kill.
No.
But no, we'll see how Epic, you know, potentially paying a visit to top lane.
Yeah, he will be meeting Kongyue down here potentially. Kongyue will take away the control ward. He's waiting on a bush, but he could be trapped here. He will go in. Bivin does use a shifting sand to go over the wall. Kongyue will be able to take down the Seraphine with a thanks to a Q, and Epic could be caught here once again. With him, he will be able to get away. That is a fast bear man, so he will not be chased down, but that's first blood over to Kongyue. Instantly on the champion, as the Hecarim, able to have a little bit more of an early game say, is able to grab first blood.
Yeah, I mean, really well played from Kongyue there, you know, just knowing the fact that there is no wards in that brush because he swept it, and just basically mind gaming Boom, because Epic definitely, you know, with his pathing expecting Kongyue to be walking away, but Kongyue says no, you know, Ruby is 50% health, he is a very vulnerable target, and basically, easy kill.
And one thing that's super crucial in that skirmish is that's a ghost from Hecarim used for both flashes of the jungler and the mid lane for Boom Esports. That's 2 summoners blown with first blood still going over. Like, that's super rough for them.
Yep, and Kongyue is going to go back to his jungle, clear an extra gromp, and will reset for the Lucidity boots, whereas Epic, I think he probably still hasn't based. Is trying to sneak a camp away from this Hecarim, you know, just deny some gold, and also just make sure himself like gets ahead a little bit, because first blood did go to Kongyue. Kongyue did realize, you know, the counter engage, I mean the counter jungling happening here, and so far I think Kongyue's pathing has been exceptional in the first round, but second round, I think with that steal, I think his pathing is going to get ruined quite a bit. But Rocky,
trading quite, trying to trade onto Rock. Flawless Duet won't be quite used, so no stun going onto the Na. Interesting from Ruby, using mid priority with Azir having to recall, will be putting a ward onto the Krugs of Kongyue, so they are I guess tracking Kongyue, or trying to do a good job of doing that to make sure they know where this horse is at all times. Understanding that he is explosive, he wants to be proactive, and if you're able to track him, you'll be able to suspect where he'll be going. So they are aware he's clearing topside, so trying to potentially be a bit safe towards Rocky, try to avoid a Aurelia dive, but Ruby could be caught out here. No ghost for Kongyue, but he is still fast. Nonetheless, Shurima Shuffle will land. Empress Divide will send Ruby back, and not much she can do. Encore will not be enough for her, and Kongyue is now 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, Ruby just disrespecting the fact that Kongyue can gank him, and he is a flashless Seraphine. You know, he's got the wave pushed in already, decides not to back away, tries to harass Bivin a little bit, and ended up costing his life. Let's just watch this once again. You know, this wave, he didn't really have to push it. You know, the wave will eventually go back to him, and the fact that, you know, he's just trying to walk up like this means that he will die for that. Kongyue trying to give the kill a little bit here, but, you know, Seraphine does walk up pretty fast with W, so we'll take the kill, and this is now a 2-0 Hecarim.
This is a fast, tanky boy. He's got the tier 2 boots already to be fast. He's building towards the turbo chem tank to increase the speed. He has the need for it. He will be meeting Epic in the topside jungle. Will think better of contesting the Scuttle. Understands that one-on-one, maybe he might not get the better of the Udyr. We'll take it, we'll play it safe, we'll just recall here, and I guess we look towards the gold lead. It is 400. Hang on, Kongyue trying to set something up potentially. Aurelia will be resetting, so Rock will be doing his best to hold this wave right here and try to make Rocky's life a misery.
Yeah, I mean, this Nara is actually holding up against Aurelia very well. You know, actually, I think after the freeze, he will be up in CS, or at least even. And once again, Boomies was just walking into Hong Kong Attitude's jungle and completely tracking where Kongyue is. Oh my god, what?
We will see the ego completely lied from Ruby, but the fight will begin. W in headbutt into the pulverize against the wall, but Wing is getting shredded. That Alistar is not 6, he has no tank yet. And Kongyue looking to be taken down. He is forced to ultimate away, and Boom Esports are able to grab a kill off of the skirmish. But hang on, Bivin doing so much damage with the Emperor's Divide. Sorima shuffling in, but POP kind of cancelled his Justice Punch there and is forced to get away. But he could be taken down. Comet will land once again. Eminem is here. He does not have 6. Is missing the Killer Instinct, so he will not be able to chase that one down. Potentially might throw a Void Seeker. It will go wide, so it will be 1-for-1 thanks to Bivin's really nice.
Yeah, let's watch this once again, right? Ruby didn't really expect what Kongyue is trying to do. I mean, obviously, you know, he had no vision of Ruby. Obviously, he's going to charge onto the red buff. But Wing basically just inting himself. So he's a level 5 Alistar, does not have the Unbreakable Will. Kongyue, after stealing the red buff, is going to have the ult away. Ruby took the danger path there and just dying to Bivin. So, like, a lot of careless mistakes overall in this fight. You know, starting off with just Wing not really respecting the damage potential from Boom Esports, and then Boom Esports have a pretty poor target selection, I'd say, over there in that fight. So at the end of the day, it is going to go Hong Kong Attitude's favor with 1-for-1 kill, but Kongyue getting the red buff. And things looking quite good for Hong Kong Attitude, as this Seraphine is 0-3-1.
Yeah, Seraphine super far behind, even in CS, but the Azir does have the kill credit as well as a couple assists, so he will have a bit more gold than the champion. Rock really bullying out this Aurelia, just asserting dominance, walking so far up, skirting the whole wave into the top lane, but this will be Meganar being popped, and Epic is here, so Rock, sensing he's in danger, will throw a boulder and will run away. As a result, we will be seeing Kongyue trying to start up this Rift Herald, potentially trying to grab that one for himself. He is being helped by Rock. Epic is sniffing this one out. There is a control board there, so he does know it's being done with Shelly being absent. We will see Hong Kong Attitude kiting up to the river, and Flawless, not Flawless to it, will land onto Rock. Hecarim will be charging him back into the squad. That's so much damage coming out. The Vanguard's Edge, not enough to pick that one up, but Boom Esports just sneaking away the Shelly. Headbutt into the wall, followed by Pulverize, will get the knock up onto Epic, but not much more will follow.
Yeah, I mean, really nice rotation from Boom Esports there. However, Rocky did overextend a little bit there and does cost him his life. And this Irelia counter pick is just not really paying off. You know, he is now 7 CS down, 2 plates behind, potentially 3, given how Rocky's actually continuing the siege. So this Irelia is actually getting put quite far behind.
Yeah, this Irelia really struggling to play into the Gnar. Really smart from Rock to rush the plated steel caps, understanding that he needs to stack some armor and grab movement speed to be able to bully out the Irelia. His base damage is enough to just play that one out before he does build, and after that recall, he was able to grab not only the Executioner's Calling, but the battle, is it Battle Sworn Axe or something? I don't know.
I just call it the Blue Shovel.
The blue shovel he's able to grab for himself as well. So Rock is definitely going to be hurting quite a bit more and reducing the healing that Ruby will be putting out. So a nice adaptation for them. We do see the Cloud Dragon is up, so Boom Esports prioritizing that one. They are in the river. They do have river control. The root will land on Ribivan, but not much damage coming out afterwards. The Seraphine quite behind and doesn't really have any damage items just yet. Kongyue will be clearing away the ward that he will be spotting thanks to his control ward. And I guess Boom Esports just kind of waiting a little bit, buying their time. Epic, I believe he was spotted out, so they do know he is in that brush, but Kongyue will run straight into it regardless. We will see the headbutt into the wall. POP forced to cancel his Winds of Justice, and not much will happen. Rock will teleport down, and Hong Kong Attitude, with their top laner committing the TP down, they will be starting this dragon.
Yeah, I mean, Kongyue playing it really safe there, not using the onslaught of shadows. And we will see Rocky also investing the TP to contest this first dragon. It is 12 minutes into the game, so it's a fairly late dragon. However, Kongyue is in the flank.
Whoa, headbutt into the fear. He is unable to grab that one. We will see the encore landing on 3 members, cleansed away straight away from MNM, but that's so much damage from the rest of the members of Boom Esports. Rock will land the boulder toss, will jump forward, will be doing so much damage. Rock double kill on the Gnar, and that is the Cloud Dragon secured for Hong Kong Attitude, and they walk away from that fight victorious.
That almost looked like a perfect fight for Boom Esports because, you know, everything actually looked so good because Kongyue actually whiffed his ultimate, you know, just only landing Onslaught of Shadows onto one person, that is Wako. However, Hong Kong Attitude was able to follow up fairly nicely. Rock was able to land a 3-man Gnar, basically rendering Wako completely useless. It was a little weird there because like he had flash, he had the Feather Storm, but decides not to use it and just die. And with Xayah now down, they just do not have the sustained damage. And like I said before, Irelia is not a great team fighter.
Yeah, no, she's more built for that side lane, especially if you go the item like the Blade of the Ruin King. That is really signaling you're trying to kill or deal with the Gnar, looking to shred that max health. The passive, and then we will be seeing the Shelly be used, but Waka could be in a bit of trouble here. He will just use a Feather Recall. He will use the Feather Storm, rather, to peel for himself a little bit. Go invulnerable for a second, jump into the air, and not much more will come as a result. Turret plates going over to Boom Esports, and Hong Kong Attitude will walk away with time spent. Boom will continue to shove the wave in, however. Kongyue is waiting in the lurks. He has called Biven with him. This will be a 4v4 fight, trying to protect this turret. Boom will think better of it. They will understand that there are multiple members missing, but Kongyue doesn't care. He'll be going in. Level 9 will land the ultimate onto multiple members, but there's no one with him. He's there by himself, and he'll be taken down. Shutdown goes over to the Udyr as Epic, and they will be grabbed 1 for none.
That was an interesting ultimate, to say the least, let's say. I prefer saying interesting because it's got the word int in it. But no, I'd probably say Kongyue underestimate, or I probably just forgot to do a tap check and see that Wako does have the completed Gale Force. because Gale Force was definitely the item that saved saved himself from Kongyu's engage there. However, nonetheless, like Kongyu just ulting into 4 people without any backup was not the best idea. And now you see Wako actually taking over Kongyu and and he is the richest man on the Rift right now.
Yeah, the Xayah 2-1 and 2 has over 6,000 gold for himself in his pocket. With the Gale Force completed, he is working towards the tier 2 boots, as well as the second item for himself, most likely a Zeal one. We do see Bivin just shoving out some waves. Boom Esports continue to try and crack open this bot tier 1. Rock, aided by Kongyue in the top side, will most likely be able to trade bot turret for top turret. Both teams happy with the trade. And going towards the gold graph, you just see it plummet after just Kongyue overextending. Like that's really all it is.
Yeah, I mean, like Hong Kong Attitude was looking so good in the early game, right? You know, Rock was basically just one Herald charge away from getting that first turret, but no, they ended up, you know, Boom Esports ended up taking the Herald away from Hong Kong Attitude, you know, just at the cost of Rocky dying once. And then all of a sudden, Boom Esports, you know, got a couple team fights for them and also gets the first turret in the bot lane. They will contest this Herald, and we'll see. They
contesting, not quite. Anyway, we'll remember to grab the eye. He ran away a little bit early, but Boom Esports will use the really impressive wave clear just to shove into the tower. But Kongyue is here on the flank. Okay. Will land on some onslaught onto 2 members. Will we see him running around? That is a fast horse, but nothing much will come from it. Multiple members of the Hong Kong Attitude out of range, unable to do much from it. They will save the tower, but nothing more will come. Brock will be trying to apprehend his own raptors before Epic looks to steal them. The slow will connect onto Wing, followed by the the enhanced Q rather from Seraphine. Flawless Duet will go wide, and both teams starting to back off quite a bit. Dragon will be spawning quite soon, so looking to reset for that.
Yeah, look, I'm not a hack room player, but I have watched a lot of professional players playing this champion, and that is not how you engage. Just straight up running at people and doesn't even knock themselves, knock the enemy back with that fear is way less than ideal, I would say. However, he will probably have his ultimate back by the time Dragon spawns, so that's an upside. But his ghost will be down, so Hong Kong Attitude fighting this Dragon at a bit of a disadvantage, I'd say.
I mean, Hong Kong Attitude are able to summon Shelly maybe a little bit early, because it's not quite distracting the members of Boom Esports the way they would like to. Galio is on the side of this Dragon Pit, not going to do much on the wrong side of the map, and Hong Kong Attitude actually will just take down this Dragon and continue to stack. And it will be interesting to see what Dragon Soul will be on the Rift.
Quite interesting. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of weird to see Boom Esports conceding the Dragon, because Kongyue, you know, his unstoppable onslaught of shadows is still on cooldown for like a few seconds until Dragon's done, and then you know, they had the perfect summoners. You know, all summoners are up. You got Seraphine with the stopwatch. You know, everything is lining up for them to take this team fight. But they decides not to. Just going to funnel a bit of gold onto the Irelia with that top turret being dropped. And nothing else, really.
Yeah, they kind of trade Dragon there for not a lot, as you were mentioning. TP's coming out. This could be a POP on the Galio. He will be able to get out with the help of Winds of Justice. Bivin will be connected with the Encore. Multi-members getting tagged there. Nara will heal for the rest of the squad. He will be tagged by the Vanguard's Edge. He has tried to use his Stride Breaker, but that's not quite enough. The flash doesn't save him either, and Rocky is able to grab a kill for himself on this Aurelia. Boom Esports fight back once again.
Yeah, I mean, what started off looking like a pick onto Boom Esports just turns disastrously for Hong Kong Attitude. I mean, the TP was great, was on point, but also the Galio hero's entrance and also the encore was perfect. Wako finally decides to use his Flash and Featherstorm, you know, also are able to dish out so much damage to turn this team fight around. So we start off with Pop, you know, just completely out of place. However, everything just lines up so perfectly for Boom Esports right here. And Hong Kong Attitude just does not stand a chance with their usage of spells there.
I mean, they're just not able to quite burst them down. Once again, Kongyue on this Heck Room, kind of using the devastating charge incorrectly. He bumps away the Galio to the rest of his team, unable to really keep him where he wants him, as Galio does use Flash to get away and create separation. And we do see the goal difference now tip over to Boom Esports. What was once a 2,000 gold lead in the favor of Hong Kong Attitude has now gone into a 2K rather gold lead for Boom Esports.
Yeah, I mean, right now, like, Hong Kong Attitude just seems so lost in every single team fight, right? Kongyue is just trying to find openings to engage, his team not really being able to follow him up. And then, you know, once they find the engage, they aren't really able to do anything, and they're trying to make a pick on Rocky.
Or Rocky could be in a bad slot. That's forced to wet will go wide, but that will be end and good night for Rocky. He will try his best to fight that one out, but he could have just been the ploy buying time for the rest of the squad. Boom Esports will look to begin this Baron. Multiple members and pings coming out from Hong Kong Attitude. They are aware this one is being done. Honey Fruit will be used for Eminem to grab some mana back, but Boom Esports do slow down this Baron. They think better of it, and they are forced out. But Kongyue is here. He will land the out and sort of shadows onto multiple members of the squad. Wing is there to land them headbutt pulverized. But there's so much peel coming through from Wako with the Feather Storm. He is able to get himself away. Emperor's Divide does land onto 2 members into the knockup. That's beautiful. And we will see the rest of Hong Kong Attitude run back, headbutt into the wall, pulverize to knock up the Seraphine. Boulder toss onto POB, cancels the Justice Punch to keep him there. The taunt will land into another boulder toss. Rock is running him down. Stride breaker to stop the movement speed, get the dash, and Rock will solo him down. Beautiful from Hong Kong Attitude.
Oh my god, what am I watching? I mean, what started off, as a pretty good call, right? Kongyue was all the way in the bot lane trying to kill Rocky, so Boom Esports saw the chance to start off Baron. However, this is getting dangerously low. Maybe we'll see something? No, actually, there's no TP. So
he won't have to smite early, he's fine.
Yeah, he won't have to smite early, so nothing will go out of place. However, let's watch this once again. Kongyue with the massive flank, only landing one person. However, the follow-up was really good by Wing. Eminem, wrong place of the map there. You're not supposed to ult, right next to the Galio and also Seraphine with Encore. However, Bivin and Rocket were there to the rescue and just clean up the rest of the fight. So, it's a bit of misplay from both sides. I believe Boom Esports, as soon as they're able to drag Kongyue, Bivin, like basically everyone to the top side, all they need to do is just reset. However, for Hong Kong Attitude, they really capitalized on that mistake. Kongyue just showing that he's got that experience, noticing that, okay, he can just translate his positioning into a flank with a massive engage there, and that will secure Hong Kong Attitude the teamfight win and the Baron.
Yeah, and Hong Kong Attitude looking to continue the Drake stacking as well. They haven't been able to crack open this mid turret, but that hasn't been a problem for them quite yet. And Kongyue and Eminem will grab that one and force the soul point for the next dragon. Hong Kong Attitude are able to claw their way back into this game, and I think, as you were mentioning, it starts from Kongyue and his engages. His experience and his ability to know when to fight. Sometimes maybe it might not be the most clean engage, but he's jamming his foot into the door and making stuff happen. Epic is on a bit of a flank here. Bivin will just use the stream recovery to get out of that. Encore used onto one member. That is Wing. That is Alistar. He is not being able to be 100 to 0. He does have Unbreakable Will. He will use the ultimate to get out of that one. He's a tanky fellow. Kongyue trying to clear away a reward. Boom Esports will deter him for a second before he goes away, auto attacking that one once again. But I guess Boom Esports are forced to just respect the push, respect the Baron, and they continue to fall behind. Their turrets. We will see Ruby tag once Kongyue with the E, and they continue to hit these turrets once again. Tier 2 turret will now fall as well. How much does Hong Kong Attitude want to continue this? The answer is not anymore. They will drop the Sun turret and they will back off.
Yeah, I mean, Kongyue being able to stop Ruby's base despite not having any vision actually means that Boom Esports have to consider one extra turret instead of just dropping mid lane tier 1. So that was really nice just pressure from Kongyue there. And Hong Kong Attitude really clawed themselves back into this game. They're at soul point, they're now 2k gold ahead. And after this Baron, they're going to have pretty good map control after breaking open so many turrets.
This game's just been so neck and neck. It's been Hong Kong Attitude with the 2k gold lead. After a fumbled play, Boom Esports come out on top with their 2k gold lead. And now with the Baron power play, 3k gold swinging over to Hong Kong Attitude. Combine that with the Ocean. And oh my goodness, Kongyue, have you gone too far deep, my friend? He is able to get away. Wako is not able to use the Feather Recall to stun him up, root him up. But as I was mentioning, that's now 2k gold lead thanks to the Baron buff and the Ocean Dragon for Hong Kong Attitude, and they continue to siege. We will see them.
Yeah, actually, that was interesting. I didn't know Heckroom can do that. But anyway, that was I actually like that engage from Kongyue because Unstoppable Shadow definitely have a much lower cooldown than the Featherstorm, and Wako is almost a single damage threat on Boom Esports.
Headshot lands into multi-members. The Justice Punch will knock them up. Boom Esports are too healthy. We will see POP go deep into the backline. Hero's entrance will be used, but Rocky is just being soloed down from the rest of the team of HKA. And we will see Piven go into the backline. He will not be able to use the Emperor's Divide till much later. Ruby will stopwatch. Kongyue will be falling here once again. No, he does get out. Wing does land the flash ult, and then we do see Epic one tick going down. Eminem is able to grab that one for himself as well. Kongyue charging down, trying to chase down this Galio. And Hong Kong Attitude, I've just turned this one around once again. A fight that looks so good just does not quite cut it for Boom Esports. They are able to grab the first inhibitor turret for themselves. We'll push on to the second, and they may be able to do this. We have 20-second death timers on 3 members of Boom Esports. Aurelia will be respawning in the next 4 seconds. Do Hong Kong Attitude want to risk potentially ending the game right here, right now? They will back out, and inhibitor is enough for them, not wanting to allow Rocky to potentially outplay this one, and they will reset.
Yeah, I mean, that fight was just really unfortunate, right? Encore only landing onto the Alistar. I mean, things look so good here, everything was kind of lining up. However, the Encore means nothing, and Hong Kong Attitude, that was like beautiful engage from Aurelia. However, Aurelia, like I said, not a good team fighter. Ruby was not able to keep him alive. Nice stun onto the Zia, and Emperor's Divide only hitting 1. However, they just do not have the damage. Zaya, without the Featherstorm, she can't really walk forward. We're just gonna get popped by Rock with that hop, and yeah, I mean, that was almost game ending for Hong Kong Attitude.
Yeah, Boom Esports, thanks to Aurelia being picked off so early in that team fight, she is able to respawn and able to be the resistance that they needed to deter Hong Kong Attitude from ending. We will be seeing Kongyue trying to just make something happen. He does run away. Sundisk is dropped here. So much poke coming through from the Azir as well. And this is Soul Point, and the Dragon is spawning quite soon. We see Hong Kong Attitude trying to set something up. They just leave Eminem to solo this one. They understand that Boom Esports just aren't able to get onto the Dragon. POP trying his best to, I guess, get some vision down, but that's Mountain Soul over to the side of Hong Kong Attitude. This Drake stacking has paid off for them, and they do have the Mountain Soul.
Yeah, I mean, Hong Kong Attitude with the Mountain Soul means that Kongyue and probably Rock as well are unkillable. Kongyue, especially with his W, is going to regenerate so much health on top of being so tanky that, it's going to be very hard for Boom Esports to actually teamfight. And now that Hong Kong Attitude have this Baron, they will look to finish this game and even out the series 1-1.
Yeah, we will be seeing them with the Baron picked up. They will not be resetting here. They believe they can potentially siege this tier 2 turret in the top side. They will be able to do that with the help of the empowered siege minion as well as the rest of the wave they have there. Wako just trying to get a little bit of poke down, but Rock's his passive didn't even go down from the Mountain Soul.
Ruby?
That was ridiculous. We do see Ruby misses everyone. Once again, Encore goes wide. And now Hong Kong Attitude have the confidence. We see Kongyue charging down, lands the ultimate onto one member, knocks Ruby back into the rest of the squad, and that's the top laner down. 4v5 now with the empowered wave. Kongyue running again, pops Turbo, Kemte, and the Ghost able to just get kited out quite a bit. Xayah is able to grab the shutdown gold. Wako does pick up that one. But Hong Kong Attitude continue to charge. It is now a 4-on-4 fight. They will grab the inhibitor in the top side. Now they turn their attention to the mid turret. They will be taking that one down. They do grab it. Now they will push to their third inhibitor. There are so many minions here in this space. How can Boom Esports deal with it? They will be able to, thanks to Hong Kong Attitude deciding they have grabbed enough for them. All inhibitors down, and Boom Esports hang on by a thread.
Yeah, I mean, watch this once again, right? Wako just not doing any damage to Rock, and Ruby, I mean, that's just a very questionable Seraphine position there. Encore completely misses. I mean, it's just not a spell that people will naturally walk into it. It's such a slow spell, and Kongyue with the massive backline ultimate there only actually hits no one. However, that forced the Feather Storm out, and Boom Esports just couldn't continue the team fight. And I mean, Hong Kong Attitude just capitalizing on Boom Esports' positional mistakes.
When it comes to Seraphine ult, it's really, what makes it so good is the fact that if you land it onto one member, the range extends. And using it like that, it's so much more difficult to land multi-member stuns because you're relying on multiple members to line up horizontally for you rather than shooting it through the team front to back. So I guess that goes hand in hand into why Ruby's ultimate looked so poor and went so wide. The super waves galore are beginning to push into the base. The reset has come through to Hong Kong Attitude, have spent their gold. This is a 6k gold lead with items. We will see them charge onto the base. The Udia stun will land onto the Gnar, but he will be forced back. The Galliot ult does save his life with their shield, but at what cost? We see the first Nexus turret going down. Rocky getting quite low as well. Ruby lands the triple ultimate with the Encore. But that's just not enough for the squad. Eminem into the backline. This Kai'Sa doing so much damage. Lands a double kill. Gets the third kill for Hecarim. Kongyue picking up that one for themselves. And this is a series. Hong Kong Attitude answer back and they win game 2.
Yeah, I mean, very convincing win there from Hong Kong Attitude. And Kongyue, he had some questionable engages there, here and there. However, overall, it is his engage that's consistently forcing out the Feather Storm from Xayah and then getting out safely and basically just winning the team, the game. And for Boom Esports, right? I mean, their draft, I wouldn't say it's bad, but I mean it has the same problem as yesterday's game. I believe it was I forgot which game, but like there was another Seraphine game with like, it was Machi on that Lucian mid lane, where there's just not enough range innately built into that team, and come team fighting stage, they have the power but they don't have the range to reach enemy.
It was just so rough to see Encore after Encore go wide, struggling to find the effectiveness Ruby had in the first game on the champion, and Hong Kong Attitude answer back here. And to follow into what you said at the beginning of the series, could this be the start of Mental Boom Esports? Do they quite have the resilience to bounce back after a loss? Because I was feeling, I kept this to myself, I was feeling Boom Esports either go 2-0 or it's 2-1 to Hong Kong Attitude. And I would love Boom Esports to prove me wrong, but they gotta have to show resilience here to really clear that from their name and push forward as a team.
Yeah, definitely, and I just had a quick check at yesterday's schedule, and I mean, it turns out it was actually Boom Esports versus J-Team. Boom Esports were able to capitalize J-Team's Seraphine team comp, the fact that, J-Team did not have enough range paired with that Seraphine, and they just fumble, and, all of a sudden we fast forward a day to today, and Boom Esports did the exact same draft. I mean, not same draft, but in the sense of same champions, but they just had a similar draft with absolutely no range to counter Hong Kong Attitude.
Yeah, it's just, I guess, with the absence of the Jace, with these massive Qs coming through the shock blasts, it's really hard to poke down the enemies before you engage. You have the Aurelia, who, alongside Jace, isn't an incredible team fight. Aurelia It just didn't feel like she was there for the comp as a whole, didn't round it out. Pair that with the Seraphine, and there's like no range drafted for the squad, as you were mentioning. And we can see that little dip into where Boom Esports found themselves a gold lead, but as soon as they lost it, it was all HKA.
Yeah, I mean, even that gold lead, right? I think a majority of that is coming from Hong Kong Attitude just misplaying. So, Hong Kong Attitude, they do make bad plays here and there, and that's probably why like they are considered one of the bottom tier teams so far. But with Kongye's experience coming in, once they are able to find their footings, Kongye and also Wing are able to find massive engages onto Boom Esports backline, and here you see MVP going to Wing on this Alice's 0, 2, and 13 at 61.9% KP, and just have some massive headbutt pulverized throughout the game.
Yeah, his ability to just layer the headbutt into the wall, then land the pulverize after maximizing the CC for the rest of the squad, the Nara ultimate. You have so much things to layer that with. Great job from him. Congratulations to Wing, and we will be returning shortly for the final and deciding game of the day between Hong Kong Attitude and
Boom Esports.
Sorry. Yeah, we'll be back soon. So sorry about that.
不知道从哪天起，我获得了一股超能力。其实，这不是超能力，我只是办了。
中国信托英雄联盟卡多款卡面任你选，最高享10%现金回馈，也想拥有这些英雄被动技，现在就去办，再送神秘英雄礼。We are
CTBC Bank is Taiwan's top financial institution, but we're not stopping there. We're crafting an international brand and already have over 260 outlets in 14 countries. We are by your side, ready to embrace the future.
We are family.
Hello and welcome back for the final game between Boom Esports and Hong Kong Attitude in the lower bracket final. I'm joined with Calvin once again, and we are excited to witness hopefully an incredible match, as last game and the first game have been very close in head-to-head.
Yeah, I mean, Hong Kong Attitude actually just bouncing back pretty convincingly against Boom Esports in Game 2, and now the ball is on Boom Esports. Whether how can they adapt to Hong Kong Attitude's draft, and whether they want to change anything, or they just think that, all right, guys, I think we just played bad. Let's just do the same draft and play better.
I don't think it was draft. I think in the first game it definitely showed that. I think the Seraphine pick is really good, but if okay, I'll go back on my statement. I think you need to draft range with the Seraphine rather. The Kaiser is able to ult into the backline, but a couple of fights, there was just a little bit too much excitement from Wako to try and follow in off of an encore, ulting back into the back of the team fight, or unable to even ult anywhere to join Ruby on some encores, even though some went wide. So I think drafting range, whether it be in the top lane or something to meet the Seraphine, is important if they want to use this pick once again.
Yeah, I mean, it's either you have better ranged champions, something like the Tristana that can also act as a hyper carry with the Seraphine, or I mean actually Tristana's bad, so you probably have to opt into something like maybe a Varus or something that might work. However, I think it was a lot in the top lane, right? I mean, Aurelia is good counterpick into the Gnar. However, it's just not that good in team fighting, and doesn't really synergize well with that Seraphine. It's probably just better off, for Rocky to go for something like the Aatrox, something like even the Renekton will probably stay in team fight just a little better, or the Camille. So we'll see how Boom Esports adapt to the draft, as they will go back onto blue side this game.
Yeah, Hong Kong Attitude not wanting to give over the Tristan, making Wako struggle as much as possible to join a Seraphine if he was willing to pick that one up for Ruby. We will see Twisted Fate and Olaf banned away from Boom Esports, continuing to ban away these two champions, not willing to give either of them over. Hecarim will be banned out for Epic, so we will see Kong Yue on a different jungler this game.
Yeah, I mean, Hecarim still proved to be that power horse, because for both teams, they just don't really seem to have a plan against that champion. Seraphine is going to be taken away this time. Probably, Hong Kong Attitude realizing that, all right, surely Boom Esports is not going to make the same mistake once again. So definitely a good ban. It is actually just very hard, for Hong Kong Attitude to just keep the Seraphine down, because all she need to do is just land one good encore in team fight, and it doesn't really matter how far you put her behind, she's just going to win your team fight. So very nice ban. Boom Esports will start off the draft with Udia, just a very solid 1P jungler, and Hong Kong Attitude responding with Kaiser Rel, a very aggressive bot lane 2v2.
Yeah, we do see Kaiser Rel super explosive, as you were mentioning. I would expect Boom Esports to draft themselves something to try and combat that. Tristan is off the table, so AD carry priority is bumped back down. Alistar is the hover here. I doubt we'll see Senna Tarm, because it has struggled a little bit. It will be Alistar. Ezreal being hovered, Xayah more likely to be coming out. It will be Xayah to accompany Alistar in the bot lane.
Yeah, I mean, a very defensive 2v2 duo as an answer there from Boom Esports. Basically, Alistar is just good at disengaging rel engages. The crash down should never really land as long as Alistar have headbutt or pulverize. And also Xayah, in the case where Pop wasn't able to interrupt the rel engage, he will also have the Featherstorm to avoid any crowd control from landing on him. So very defensive 2v2 in the bot lane for Boom Esports. Hong Kong Attitude probably should get priority, or potentially just have a pretty good scaling actually throughout the entire early game. And it is going to be the Lilia that's going to get locked in by Kong Yue. And Lilia is just one of those non-committal engaged champions where all you need to do is just drop your E. If it hits on Desire, you just pop your Lilting Lullaby. You'll force spells to be used, whether it's Cleanse, whether it's Flash, the Feather Storm. Like, it's just such a useful champion, and it's so non-committal, and it's so effective.
Yeah, we pair that with potentially the Renekton being hovered. It will be Victor and Jace being banned out from Hong Kong Attitude. You have Boom Esports taking away the Na and the Azir, not looking to give that one back over to Bivin. It will be Rock on the Renekton. Renekton, a really good champion at following up off of a Lilting Lullaby. He does have the movement, the gap closed to potentially get on top of the targets to make sure they're feeling the brunt of a crocodile as they wake up. Interesting from Boom Esports, hovering the Rise here. It could be an Everfrost Rise, just a hover. It will be the Orianna picked up, something a little bit more traditional, a little bit similar to something that Ruby has played more often so far this split. And this could be a Gragas top lane into the Renekton, and it is the Gragas.
Yeah, I mean, Gragas usually does pretty good into the Renekton. Renekton can't really slice and dice onto the Gragas. Gragas is okay. Bevin with the Game 3 LeBlanc. All right. We have seen him hover LeBlanc last game. But at the end he thinks better and just decides to go onto this Azir. But no, this time it is going to be the LeBlanc coming out for Bivin. And I just love this pick. Like, this is, I believe, is one of the most picked mid laners in the entire competitive history of League of Legends. And it's just, there's just so much playmaking potential in this champion, She's good at making lanes volatile, she's good at side laning, she's good at picking people off, and she even have some really nice team fighting damage with the distortion into the Mimic.
Yeah, she has so much potential to do so many different things, and I guess that summarizes HK's team comp quite well. Like, they have the potential to just poke down with some Fish Force, a Lilting Lullaby with the Lilia. They have the potential to go for some Flash Q engages from the Lilia, landing multi-member sleeps. So they have different ways they could potentially orchestrate this team comp. And LeBlanc complements that really well. And I guess with the Azir banned out, Bivin's like, hey, you forced my hand, LeBlanc's still up, I'll take the pick.
Yeah, I mean, this patch you also see LeBlanc's W mana cost reduced, I believe, by like 20. And that's actually huge because LeBlanc is not a champion where you build a lot of mana. It's definitely not a tier champion. And even some LeBlanc would just opt into the presence of mind and just take something like a Night Harvester or a Proto Belt over the Luden's Echo. But I believe in competitive scenario, it is going to be the Luden's Echo being picked up, just giving her a little bit more mana sustain. But I mean, overall, it's a very early game.
Will be hitting through.
Yeah, I mean, the early game is very, very scary from Hong Kong Attitude. The LeBlanc and the Renekton, like, these are just your traditional classic early game win lane win game champions.
Yeah, I mean, they've drafted a super confident draft for themselves. I guess the Renekton, confident pick. You have to be comfortable. You have to be positive on the champion. You pair that with the LeBlanc, super proactive, lots of pick potential, and the Kaiser as well. It's exuding how Hong Kong Attitude are feeling coming out of that game. Yes, they probably feel as though they threw the lead over rather than Boom Esports apprehended that from them. So they're confident sticking to their guns and drafting super positive, super flexible team comp. Going between the runes, it will be Electrocute for the LeBlanc, so looking to 100 to 0 people as quickly as possible. And Predator for the Lilia, not Phase Rush.
Yeah, it is not the Phase Rush or even the Dark Harvest for Lilia. And just as we were saying, right? This comp is so early game focused. You see that Kongya is going to take the Predator to probably just cheat some tempo and just like get some early game ganks going on. Wing even had the minion dematerializing, even on the tank versus tank matchup, and he's just trying to get priority in lane, and everyone is trying to look to move from lane to lane from Hong Kong Attitude.
Yeah, Hong Kong Attitude are looking to group as soon as possible and make stuff happen with some skirmishes, and Rock trading really well onto Rocky. Pops Conqueror, heals himself straight back up, and Rocky will use his passive, his W rather, to just slurp up a little bit of the juice and heal himself back up. No questions asked. No CS for him quite yet. Renekton doing a great job of bullying him. But
yeah, I mean, that was a misplay from Rocky. I believe Rocky started E. It was the body slam, level 1. Misplayed both times, actually. 2 missed body slam means that Rocky was just able to very hard trade Rocky in the top lane, just burning that one pot without actually consuming any on himself. And Bivin just in a short trade, really nice trade there onto Ruby. Typically, you do see LeBlanc learning Q second, just for the more reliable damage, but Bivin is pretty confident on his LeBlanc and will learn Chain instead because that actually does more damage.
Yeah, looking to land those stuns up and make Oriana's laning phase a little bit spicy, a little bit not the way she wants to. Typically the control mage who is just happy to throw the ball around, last hit some champions and scale up to a massive shockwave team fighting monster. LeBlanc forces you to act a little bit, but Rocky really trading well onto Rock, chunking him quite low, but this is Renekton. It is a bit of a false bait. Call an ambulance, not for me. Heals up quite a bit with the Q, dashes out, so even in the trade, Rocky could be in a little bit of trouble. He does heal back up with the grasp, with the auto attack. Kongyue has found Epic here, forces him off the Scuttle Crab, and a massive priority for HKA in the early game.
Yeah, I mean, just as we expected, right? I mean, they have the Renekton, they have the LeBlanc. It is going to be 2 high priority lanes. Epic will have to cross mid lane, help Ruby get a little bit of priority to avoid getting double scuttled. Also brings Pop into the river so that he can guarantee that Scuttle Crab. However, Kongyue shows no interest in bot lane and probably looking to dive this.
Yeah, he is here in the tri-brush, and Rocky is quite low. The Swell Seed will go wide, but the Watch Out Eep will actually miss as well, and Rock is quite low. First blood goes over to the Lilia, but she's taken down 1 for 1. That dive was just managed quite poorly. Crucial abilities missed. The damage doesn't come through quite as quickly as I'd like to, and that is 1 for 1. Rocky trading back.
Okay, Epic is going on a journey now, but as he's going on a journey, what is he doing? Okay, that's a flash.
Oh, he flashes out. He's and then he goes back in. Crush down does miss, but that's a kill for Bivin already. The chain secure that one for him. POP is able to secure that one over the wing. The TBs are starting to come out. Ruby is taken down by Rock, and then we have the members of Boom Esports on the retreat. The E will not root anyone. The chains are able to take down Xayah. This LeBlanc has 2 kills now. Rocky will be taken down with the Watch Out E, Q tagging POP, the slow, the speed. Kongyue is so fast, so much burn damage coming down, and does Kongyue think that's enough? Or the flash pulverized into the headbutt. Does he take him down? You're kidding me! Oh, the stopwatch! Oh my goodness, POP almost outplaying. Thumbs up from Kongyue. Not even close, buddy. I knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, this game, look, Epic is actually just led his team to death there because Epic clearly knows that LeBlanc is going for him, and he is almost just like a dead man walking by the stage. Decides to turn back, decides to do expend the flash, and decides to go back. So that initiates the fight, and this forces Boom Esports to take an unfavorable. It's basically a 3v5 fight here, and when you have a LeBlanc, when you have a Renekton, you don't really want to fight me this early into the game. A really nice flash there from Bivin, securing 1 extra kill, and then basically the rest of Boom Esports just have to run for their lives.
Oh man, that was so beautiful. Close on the back end. The stopwatch from the rune page, enough to save Kongyue's life.
Yeah, I mean, I have a feeling like if that is actually perfect timing, like the rune, then he must have got it from that kill on Alistar, because like killing reduces the cooldown, I believe. And otherwise, I don't really see the reason why he would have a stopwatch this early on. So that was really beautifully calculated from Kongyue. However, talking about beautifully calculated, Rock opting for the level 6 versus level 5 fight, but does not have enough damage. Will force Gragas to the river, just grabbing some honey fruit, and everything will be okay.
Yeah, Hong Kong Attitude are able to secure a quite quick Mountain Dragon. First one going over to them. Should be sub 7 minutes. Kong Yue waiting a little bit longer to smite that one away. I mean, Hong Kong Attitude, when they look proactive this early in the game, tend to look really unstoppable. And especially if Kong Yue is able to spread his lead, and he has done that to Bivin already. This LeBlanc, we are talking about how explosive the pick can be. A 2-0 and 2 LeBlanc with Lost Chapter and the Dark Seal. She's opted for. Bivin's looking for blood and looking to stack that up to potentially even a Measures.
Yeah, I mean, I just love this from Hong Kong Attitude verbatim. Let's look at this.
Kong Yue is here. The crash down will land into the Lilting Lullaby, sleeping up both members. And Wako is able to actually outplay that one quite a bit. Zaya will fall down, but the kill credit will go to the Alistar. Epic is here, uses the ultimate, pulls it back with the feather recall, grabs a kill for himself, and that's beautifully done by Wako. Kiting that one out and able to just go positive there.
Yeah, I mean, Wako and Pop just outplaying Kong Yue and the bot lane of Hong Kong Attitude there. Really nice hyper pulverize, denying the initial engage. Let's just watch this once again, because Wing started off with a very nice flash, and I mean, you're not really supposed to use crash down this early against an Alistar, but like really beautiful disengage there from Pop, and basically saving his AD carry, and Wako capitalizing on that, and takes level 6 after killing Kong Yue. Will be able to collect an extra kill after that.
Yeah, one of the rare instances we see an aggressive Featherstorm, allowing Wako to pick up the kill there. The cleanse so crucial in that, as we do see a little bit of a skirmish happening around this Shelly. Rocky has used his ultimate to peel himself, the Renekton off himself, as well as the Rel. Rel is level 4 still, so she will not have an incredible amount of base stats. She will be quite squishy. Boom Esports will be starting, trying to finish off this Herald. It will be picked up for him. Epic does secure that with the smite, and now the Rel lands the mount up, does find 2 members, but Boom Esports will be running that one away, but they're not able to grab the Herald. The Eye will be there, and Kong Yue will camp this one out and make sure Epic is unable to grab it for himself. The Blast Cone will spot out Kong Yue, doggy guarding the Eye, and that one will time out.
Yeah, I mean, I think Hong Kong Attitude. Oh wait, what is?
Oh, a little bit of a dive here. Swellsley does land into the Lilting Lullaby. Watch out, deep into the Q. Kong Yue, perfectly calculated as always. Knows the Q will take him down with the burn damage and grabs himself another kill. He is now 4-3 on this Lilia. Kong Yue continuing to be a menace on the Rift.
Yeah, I mean, Koya is just so good, man. But I mean, look, let's talk about the Herald just then, right? I mean, Brock just popping Dominus way too early there, trying to jump onto Rocky, but Rocky is a Gragas. He's got the body slam, he's got the explosive cask. It's just so hard for that Renekton to get onto Gragas. So I think Wing and Rock almost lost Hong Kong Attitude of that fight there, and Hong Kong Attitude just unable to reset that one last tick of aggro on the Herald. Means that they will lose the Herald. However, they will be able to defend that into a top lane dive. So at the end of the day, I think it works out for Hong Kong Attitudes, just that their execution could have been much cleaner.
Yeah, definitely. As Rock is starting to trade, Dominus is popped onto Rocky. He will be able to most likely solo down the Gragas. Boggity Flaming back in. He will not be able to take him down. Rocky trading a little bit back towards the end of this, but Rocky's got to be scared. Lilia is not seen on the map. You got to suspect that she will be coming to dive you. Rocky will back away, fully respecting the untracked Lilia. Will just get all the way out of that, and now this is Rock free hitting onto this top lane turret.
Yeah, I mean, Rocky this game has just been a bit questionable. I mean, this is a counter matchup into the Renekton, and Rock just basically winning up pretty convincingly. Obviously,
Predator popped. Okay. Or the swell sleep will go wide, so gank will go on.
There's not enough minion wave to set up the dive, or rather just no minion waves at all. But yeah, I mean, Rocky just playing this lane quite poorly, 30 CS down and just very far behind this Renekton.
I mean, he went tier as well, so he's trying to make sure he had the mana to continue to be annoying into the Renekton, but Ruby is here, has been spotted on that control ward, so Hong Kong Attitude are aware that a dive could be occurring. Kongyue on his way down to try and defend the dragon, being taken. TP committed from Brock as well. All 5 members of the squad from Hong Kong Attitude are here. Wood Distortion away to make sure the ball will not land. Ruby could be really low here. Shockwave will land onto the LeBlanc. Vivin doesn't quite have the damage just yet. Flash being forced from Ruby. That's the summoner in the advantage of Hong Kong Attitude. And as a result, Hong Kong Attitude are able to grab the Ocean Dragon. It will reset for a second there. But Kongyue does have the smite, is able to grab that one for himself. And Hong Kong Attitude, once again, these little wins are starting to snowball.
Yeah, I mean, Bivin right now is just so strong, right? With the Sorcerer's Boots and the Lost Chapter, this LeBlanc just straight up out damages the Orianna. Orianna has to flash defensively, has to ult defensively, and without the tools from the Orianna, Boom Esports just does not have a chance to contest this dragon. So, they tried making a play in the bot lane, however, I wouldn't say it backfired, but Hong Kong Attitude with the correct response will get the dragon. Will take the dragon away and put themselves one dragon closer to Soul Point.
Yeah, Hong Kong Attitude once again starting to stack these dragons, have a second one for themselves. Brock comfortable to just slice and dice around the Gragas, will reset himself, will be most likely grabbing Stridebreaker, this recall, so the Mythic being completed for him. Kongyue will be just clearing out some control wards and going to looking towards these item spikes coming through from Hong Kong Attitude. The Mythics are starting to happen. Lilia has opted for the Zhonya's, which we see quite a bit before you go something like the Leandries, favoring a little bit of outplay potential, especially if you start perfect timing. It's a cheaper build path. But yeah, the power's all coming to Hong Kong Attitude right around this point of the game.
Yeah, and I mean, talk about like Dragon Soul just then, right? Like, it is also an Infernal Soul, and this favors Hong Kong Attitude so much. Like, if Hong Kong Attitude is able to keep up with the current pace of Dragon stacking, it is going to be a quite early Dragon Soul in a 23 to 25 minute mark we're talking about, and that is almost the strongest point for LeBlanc and this Renekton. So, things are looking a little worrying for Boom Esports, and for Boom Esports, right, they really need to find a pick somewhere and just funnel a bit more gold into Wako or into Ruby.
Yeah, they need to somehow get this Xayah some kill gold. Pippin just completely blowing up Ruby there. Not much Gariana can do. Shockwave still in hand, however. Crashdown will go wide onto Epic. This bear will be able to run away from the squad. Void Seeker will tag him. Very well done from Eminem to do a last little bit of damage, but Hong Kong Attitude flexing their 3k gold lead quite well over Boom Esports. Vivin still hasn't reset for his Luden's Echo just yet, so a little bit of power being absent from the mid laner. They will go over to their Rift Herald though as a result. Rock's looking to start this one up. Lilia is there with him, Kongyue, and they are looking to try and take Shelly once again.
Yeah, Hong Kong Attitude right now looking very in control of this game so far, just because of the champion choices, right? Once again, I can't emphasize this more. It is a double solo lane early game champion, and they're really utilizing their team comp very well. You're just going from objective to objective, getting lane prio in the mid lane, in the top lane, and basically just trying to accelerate this game as much as possible and choke out Boom Esports. Epic?
Oh, he's very deep. Wako's with him. Ruby's there as well. Won't be caught out that time just as he was before previously in the match. But oh my goodness, Bivin, that's so much damage. 100 to 0. Shockwave just completely misses the panic. The lilting lullaby comes down. Bivin unable to take the last tick onto Ruby. The shield is able to grab him up, but on the back end, Epic will be taken down from the rest of the members of Hong Kong Attitude. The Featherstorm will be used into the recall, but the Rock Crocodile's here. The killer instinct comes through, and Eminem picks up a kill for himself. Talking about Xayah needing some kill gold, Eminem picks him up for himself.
And Pop just going to get cancelled. And I mean, that was Boom Esports just going a little too deep there. Ruby, I also started off with Ruby just being out of position there. You know, this Orianna just completely disrespecting the LeBlanc. I mean, what are you doing there? You have no place doing here, Ruby. You have no teammates around you. I mean, Epic is not going to help you at all. Lilton Lower is going to drop a Biffin, just miscalculating damage a little bit. The corrupting pot did help Ruby to survive there. However, Epic is going to fall, and all of a sudden, Wako is in a rock, between a rock and a hard place, and Rock is there to the rescue. And Wako is going to fall. And I mean, yeah, I mean, Ruby was the one that started off this entire shenanigan, but he was the one that actually got away from Boom Esports.
Yeah, really sad to see him just not respecting the LeBlanc, and it will be an Everfrost LeBlanc actually. The buffs coming out in the recent patches for this item will allow him to really root up with the chains into the Everfrost, and that's so much damage, and that's not even the burst item for this LeBlanc. But on the top side, Rock is outplaying the Orianna, is able to trade 1-for-1 into Ruby. Great stuff from him. Wako will be falling. Cargo being juggled quite well. Crashdown will ensure with the shield. Wing gets out with his life. But Killer Instinct from Eminem. Actually, no, it was not rather. He just walked there by himself. It is on cooldown, my mistake. But Biffin will be auto-attacking this down.
Didn't really know how Rock got into that position, but you know, he definitely did just 1v3 outplayed and traded Ruby 1-for-1, which is once again Rock actually just blind checking. You know, think he's a big crocodile, and I mean, he is a big one, but you know, definitely not big enough to 1v3 there. He will end up trading Ruby. It's just once again just Ruby being too confident, because he does have flash, but you know, not respecting the flash from Rock, he is going to get traded. And I mean, all of a sudden Hong Kong Attitude makes an even play in the top side and the winning play in the bot side, and that will further their gold lead into a 4k gold, actually almost a 5k gold lead.
Yeah, it's so heartbreaking to see Rock just turning that one, landing multi-man Q after multi-man Q, able to heal up so much with the lifesteal. And with Dominus as well, just able to be tanky enough to stall that one out, and the flash Q at the end, able to secure the one onto Ruby. And as we saw on the gold graph, that the four members of Hong Kong Attitude that you want to have gold are the 4 richest in the game so far. With the richest man of the mountain starting is the crocodile. In fact, not a man. But we will be starting to see the mythics coming out, and it is Leandre's here for Kong Yue as well. This Lilia is so accelerated, being 4-2 and 6, and her burn damage passive plus Leandre's passive, that's so much damage coming out over time.
Yeah, and also just highlighting that, I mean, LeBlanc is going for a Void Staff second. So, I mean, that is a lot of damage coming in from LeBlanc as well. That Blighting Jewel is already going to give her, I think, 15% magic penetration. And you know, this LeBlanc is actually going to be pretty massive. The Everfrost doesn't mean that LeBlanc doesn't get the damage she does with the Luden's Tempest, but that Everfrost would mean that, you know, it is very easy CC and very easy for LeBlanc to land the entire combo, just like we see. Never mind, it was a mist.
I mean, the slow makes it easy as well, but we do see Rock just blowing up POP. He will drop thanks to the help of Eminem. TP through from Biven. He lands the first distortion, trying to gap close. He will take that one back, not wanting to get caught by potentially a body slam into an explosive cask. And Hong Kong Attitude will turn their attention to the Baron, with one man falling, being the Cow. We will see Boom Esports potentially trying to contest this one. Wing trying his best to zone this one out. Blue Trinket will spot them out in their own dragon. For Biven trying to find the angle. Everfrost will go wide, but the knock up from Crashdown will catch the dragon. I mean, the Udyr rather. He will get away. But Kong Yue, super confident, will land the Q from the flash into the multi-man lifting lullaby. Cleanse coming through from Wako, stalls for a little bit. Shockwave goes wide of every member. Once again, Ruby not on point with these. And Hong Kong Attitude walk out of this one 1-for-1 in what looked like Boom Esports really could have just lost it all there.
Yeah, I mean, Kongyo just misplaying a little bit. Did not expect the cleanse to come out from Wako and just end up not being able to press the golden button. So let's just watch this once again. Viven expanded his TP to mid lane, is in a flank position there. I think it was a pretty... Oh, okay, that was a self-disengage there from Viven. I mean, right there, Kongyo, two misplays actually, popping Brock over the wall into just, forgetting that a cleanse exists. Also, Eminem just ulting in between of everyone, having to flash immediately also means that he loses out quite a bit of damage. Ruby can't really do anything in this fight. His team was on a retreat, and there's just not much follow-up that Boom Esports can do.
Yeah, it was so sad to see Kongyo got taken down just as Lilting Lullaby procced the sleep, and even the cleanse came out to just make sure that he did get taken down. We do see Biven using the Everfrost to evade the squad. They are aware that the Baron is being done, but they aren't able to get there in time to do anything about it, but they might look to see if they can find and engage. Kongyo landing the Q onto Rocky, pair that with the attract and repel. Magnet Storm bringing both members towards him. Viven, however, on the flank. Rock is able to pick up Epic. This is a stunned up POP. He does go back in with the headbutt pulverize, trying to buy time for the rest of his team to get out, but that will be 3-4-0 for Hong Kong Attitude and Baron buff for them.
Yeah, this is really not Rocky and Ruby's game. Ruby, once again, I can't really fault him this fight. There's not much he can do. However, Rocky is just got himself stuck in quite a difficult scenario there. Body slam misses, and then the explosive cast also didn't really do anything. And let's just watch this once again. The Boomies was very late to the fight because they were just getting juked left, right, and center by Viven on that LeBlanc, and then Rocky just missing everything, will fall, and Viven is just being very annoying on the back line of Boom Esports, and Hong Kong Attitude just basically cleaning up. And just then we see, they do have the Infernal Soul now, and right now Hong Kong Attitude, they're just doing so much damage.
Yeah, and you see a sleeper, Eminem, kind of a sleeper in this game. We haven't really been talking about him much at all, but he is 6-0-5 on this Kai'Sa, and Rocky and Waka could be in trouble. Everfrost will root up. Oh my goodness, Killer Instinct coming out from Eminem. He will try to go back in, but the rest of his team is able to grab the double kill for them. Shockwave does land on 2 members. Grab the first one. That will be Lilia going down. But there is 4 members still on the side of Hong Kong Attitude. Rock is a tanky crocodile. He will be going forward. Viven diving down. The chain will not proc, but Rock does not care about turret. He will land the attract and repel for the rel. Able to grab the kill onto Ruby on this Orianna. And Hong Kong Attitude look to push into the base. Death timers are starting to tick up. You're thinking the better of it, realizing the risk is not worth the reward, so they will recall. And Hong Kong Attitude win another fight, 11k gold lead.
Yeah, that was really nice synergy there from Viven and Eminem. And just as we talk about Eminem being very fair, look at this, actually, just the Everfrost, triggering the faster stacks for MM to actually engage in Wako. That was actually very cool to watch. Shockwave will land on 2, will take down Kongyo, however, Little will just sort of way back to safety. And right now, Boom Esports does not have the damage nor the tankiness to deal with Hong Kong Attitude, and Hong Kong Attitude basically just runs them down.
Yeah, Rock doing so much damage whilst ignoring majority of what Boom Esports throw at him. The Sterek gauge just makes that crocodile so beefy, and he looks like he's building a Guardian Angel too, so he's looking to get even more crazy with these dives.
I was just about to say, the Guardian Angel is it's going to be detrimental for Boom Esports if it's not really bad already. But let's just keep watching. Viven is just being very annoying. Oh my god, the damage, missing the chain and still doing. Missing the distortion for movements for movement, and still manages to do 50% of Oriana's health.
Yeah, thanks to Everfrost and the damage buff that item got, even though you may miss majority of your kit, you are still doing quite a bit of damage as a assassin mid laner. We will be seeing Hong Kong Attitude escorting the top wave into the turret. They will not be able to deal too much damage. The Everfrost does land into the chains. It does not quite. Roxy Ruby is able to get away with his life, but Roxia jumps over the wall. He does have wing with the attract repel on him, so let's look to see if Rock is able to land a massive one for him. Dominus is proc. Crashdown will land into multi-members. The magnet pull makes sure Boom Esports can't get away from it. Wako is taken down. Featherstorm to his death, and we will see BOP taken down from the rest of the squad. The Lilia doesn't even drop. The chains proc. Rock, Ruby potentially could make something happen. I don't believe so. The health bars are so low. Crashdown does land. Ruby is going to be poked down. Hong Kong Attitude playing with their food quite a bit. Death timers are much too long for the rest of the members to help out the Oriana. Inhib does come up a little bit pesky there. They do decide to turn onto that. But Hong Kong Attitude will triumph, will come back, and they will be moving on in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, really nice win here from Hong Kong Attitude. It is a lot of the time just the Kongyue show. However, this game 3, everyone on the Hong Kong Attitude really just stepped up. The LeBlanc was very annoying to deal with, to say the least, in team fights. And then top lane, Rock completely gapping Rocky. He was, I think, 50, almost 60 CS up at one stage on a counter matchup in that Renekton versus Gragas. That was just something insane. And then Eminem, the unsung hero there, just casually collecting gold himself and just collecting kills and basically making himself relevant towards the late game.
Like, how can a Kai'Sa slip through the lens when she's that fed? But somehow Eminem did, and it wasn't as if he wasn't doing damage. The Kai'Sa was doing loads of it with the Lord's Dominix, with the Kraken Slayer. So hats off to Eminem as well. He did not slack, and neither did the rest of his team. And Hong Kong Attitude bounced back from a Game 1 defeat into a very convincing Game 3 for themselves, and they will be moving on as a result. And Kongyue on the Lilia, super proactive, allowing Viven on this LeBlanc to shine, getting the first couple kills onto the LeBlanc really snowballed the rest of the game.
Yeah, definitely, and I mean, it's very refreshing to see LeBlanc being picked after, she's been away from competitive for quite a while now, right? For a champion this popular, throughout the entire competitive history of League of Legends, for her to just come back and really bring us some insane gameplay is very refreshing to watch.
Yeah, such a fun pick to watch too. You saw Biven, with the Everfrost especially, was kind of just making weird and wacky plays, not even having to land the chains, able to make stuff happen. Top damage will go over to the Renekton.
Just by a bit.
Really well done from him. Narrowly, I think a Luden's game for Biven tips over the LeBlanc. But as we go over, Hong Kong Attitude able to just completely take over the game with objectives, able to secure every single dragon for themselves, and 14k gold lead to finish the game in 27 minutes is quite convincing, one would say.
Yeah, no, this is actually just really well played from Hong Kong Attitude. Completely rendering Epic useless this game. Just a 4,400 damage Udyr. Doesn't even do as much damage as the Alistar. He's basically a stun bot come late game in every single team fight, and it doesn't really help out when your Gragas is super far behind, when Wako is forced to ultimate for safety every single time, and then Oriana just whiffing quite a few shockwaves this game, and just everything in combination just means that Boom Esports weren't able to beat up Hong Kong Attitude, and Hong Kong Attitude, the MVP is going to go to Rock 5-11 on this unkillable crocodile.
Yeah, that Rock really just showing his menace on this pick. He really just was the croc that rocked the block, and 66% kill participation for him and nearly a 5k gold lead. Just complete dominance for him. Congratulations to Rock. And congratulations to Hong Kong Attitude, able to triumph over Boom Esports, moving further into the playoffs. The loser side of the bracket is always a tough one to push through, but I think if Hong Kong Attitude are able to keep the momentum up, if anyone can do it, I believe they can push through the rest of the comp. And we will be taking a short break, but we will return with you shortly, followed by an interview after the break.
家好，这次采访就是 HKA 的空乐选手。Hey guys, I'm here with HKA's 空乐 for our winner interview. 空乐你好。
大家好，我是 HK 打野空乐。
那首先呢，就当然要恭喜你们获得这场的胜利，就2-2，可以算是打得挺辛苦的，可是你们还是打赢回来，就能够说一下你们在游戏里的状态，还有可能现在的感受吗？ So of course, firstly, congratulations on winning that series 2-1. But I mean, it was a win, but watching the series, it looked like it was definitely a hard-fought victory that time around. So could you tell us what your thoughts are, and also how was the team feeling at the point in time?
现在的感受就没有特别开心吧，因为其实我们整体打下来的内容其实就是打的还是很多失误，然后就希望接下来可以打得更顺利。
So we're actually not too happy about the win, even though we did win, because I think that throughout the series we actually made a lot of mistakes here and there. So right now the team is feeling is really just hoping that we'll make less mistakes and we'll play better from here on out for the rest of playoffs. Great. So the next thing that I wanted to ask you was, in that first game of the series, there was that one Baron fight that went absolutely wrong. We wanted to ask you what was up with that. Was it like a communication problem on the team, or what kind of mistake was it? 接下来问题